Havana, Havana, Havana. Shalom. Okay, I'm not a Jew and I don't speak Hebrew, and a couple of words. But when I was in Pergamos in Cyprus, I got invited to go to Israel, a 5-day cycle stage race. What it was the RAF had decided to send a team to Israel, and were invited there by Hapoel, which is a sort of trade union organisation, but also governs the sports things over there, sports clubs, football, etc. And anyway, they were invited to send a team across, and they needed to send seven members. They could manage 6. They needed a 7th one. So who should they go to? Yours truly. I can't profess to be a brilliant cyclist, but when you've offered an opportunity like that, you grasp it, especially when you're only 19. This was in 1961, by the way, in the probably May or in the spring anyway. I can't remember the exact date. So we got our act together, booked tickets. I got permission from the army to go because it was considered a sort of semi-war zone in Israel. I had to get special permission. Anyway, I got it, and off we went in a Comet 4 jetliner. Now, before then, of course, as I might have mentioned, when I went to Cyprus in a 4-engine prop job, which was lumbered along, got up there eventually, but took its time. The Comet, up there, then down like that, to Israel. Israel is not very far from Cyprus, of course, which if you want to look at your map, you'll see. Or if you've even been there, Cyprus or Israel. Anyway, we got there and we got taken to a hotel. And just as we got to the hotel and we were expecting to get a meal, all the lights went off. Thunderstorm developed. Horrendous crash flashes of lightning, boom, thunder, So we didn't get to have a meal. I had to shower cold in the dark, which I managed, but it wasn't easy. Well, them warmy bits are, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so next morning we got taken on a tour around. So went to Nazareth, which I don't know about now, but in them days was a bit of a grotty place. Went to this well that Mary was supposed to have used to get water from. And there was dust everywhere and there was bits of nut paper and stuff around. It was really nice. Then we got taken to the Sea of Galilee, which was quite nice, and we saw the River Jordan, which wasn't wide. That's more of a trickle at that time. Must have had trouble with the water, I suppose. Shortage and what have you. And then we were taken to the families that were going to put us up for a few days. Each of us went to an individual family. And I went to a family with this young guy they called Jacob Weinstein, which is Jacob Weinstein, of course. And nice guy. And we got on very well, and it was very, very nice. And the first night there with them, we went to a party upstairs. They were in a block of flats, and in the apartment above them was a party going on. So I got invited in and went in, and everyone in there, all the boys and girls, were in uniform. Obviously, I'd always thought that when you're off duty, you'd put some civvies on and have fun that way. But okay, must be an Israeli thing, getting ready for an action that might come up. Anyway, we had quite a good time, and they all seemed to speak English, so no problem there. My Hebrew was not in. All I could say was "tada," which I think means thank you, but you tell me if that's right or wrong. Anyway, so we stayed with them for a few days. Oh, and then we had this march around the local stadium. All the continues from the various countries and all the sports, because it's more than cycling. It was, tennis, football, wrestling, whatever you. So we were going to march around that. There's a bit of a hiatus over it. Apparently, you see that the Cypriots objected us to be going under the Cypriot flag, and the English team, the British team, they also objected us to over under the Cypriot flag. Anyway, so the managers got together, our manager got together with their managers, and they come to this conclusion that we'd all march under the British flag. So by default, I've actually cycled for Britain, which came very handy one time. My mother-in-law, she had two sons who were really good at sports, football, cricket, all the rest of them. And I was used to them. And she kept going on about this, which is okay, they were good. And trophies and things on the mantelpiece. She kept going on about this, and you've never done anything like this. So I had to say, I represented Britain in cycling. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Told her. Anyway, so then we got going. We'd taken up to Kibbutz Dan in the north, right up near the Lebanese border. And we stopped there overnight, and the local boys and girls there gave us a show, dancing and singing, and they were very energetic, I can tell you. Anyway, we went to bed, and next morning we got up, and we started a cycle race. And we headed for a town called Savad, which is in the mountains, and sort of a religious centre full of religious people, Jews obviously. And we cycled there, and on the way, we went over this railway crossing. Now, all the other guys had these what they called tub tyres, which were combined inner tube and outer, very lightweight things. Nice and light, speedy, but very easy to puncture. And they all punctured. Now, I had all these old John Bull tyres on, which were like tank treads. Tough as old boots, no problem at all, straight over the thing. So I was ahead for quite a while. But of course, they all caught me up eventually. No sweat. And we got to the town and we stopped there. And the next morning, I can remember going round, and on this square overlooking this valley, looking down towards the coast, was a load of guys playing chess. These little tables all set up outside, obviously permanent. They were playing chess. And I can remember looking over the shoulder of this guy, watching him. They sort of handed me the king or something. Well, of course, although I can play chess, these guys were by far a lot better than I could ever be. So I said, sorry, carry on, And we got going. And we went down the mountains at a horrific speed to a town called Nari on the coast. It's 50 miles away. Now, I can tell you, scared the living day or so. Very narrow mountain roads, rock wall on one side, very great drop on the other. Speed brakes not working, because they were just the normal brakes, not these disc type brakes of these days. The old type where there's sort of two blocks that run the rim of the wheel. Anyway, we eventually got there, and I did quite a respectable time. And we stopped there overnight, and of course, every evening we had a sort of banquet thing, and the locals gave speeches and that. Now, the speeches weren't my cup of tea, really, but, you listen to them politely and said hello and rung the old thing back. Anyway, so we went on, and the next day we went to a place called Ramley, which was a sort of a flat route, mainly flat route. Ramley is sort of, I think it was an Arab town outside of Tel Aviv. And we got there, and we had the normal speeches and whatever. And the next day we set off for a place called Ashkelon, which is on the coast near the Gaza Strip, if I remember rightly, and if my geography is right. And we got there, and we had the normal speeches and things. And I can remember sitting opposite this beautiful Israeli girl. She had this red hair, sort of frizzy, curly. When you're 19. So anyway, her name was Yael Fivoni. Yael Fivoni, I remember her. But she's an old granny now, and I don't know if she even remembers me. But if she has to see this, hello Yael, shalom, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem. Anyway, that's my Hebrew gone. Anyway, so next day we set off for the Beersheba. That was a hot, dry, dusty route that was. Beersheba didn't seem to have much there in them days. And we were told, come back in a few years and you'll be going right down to the Negev desert. I don't know whether we'd want to go that much further into the desert, but there you go. Yeah, I would have gone, of course I would. And then, of course, we went back to the families, and I think for one night, then we flew back to Cyprus. And I didn't do too badly, and I've put on this shoot, my certificate that I got, just to prove that I'm being kosher. And Also, a photograph of me at Bergamos when I was 19. I can't believe I look that young, but looks like I did. So, anyway, I'll go now and take care of yourselves and behave.